everyone, Joy from Big Fam 9 here, and I'm so excited to present our very first subscriber requested video. We called it Calming the Paper Storm, or Organizing Your Kids' Paperwork and Stuff. This year we had 3 in the same elementary school and 1 that started middle school. Thanks to the internet and especially YouTube, we've had great access to some experts and other families like ours that have shared some great tips on how to organize and manage paper clutter. So today I hope to give you a little glimpse in how we were able to finally reconcile the fantasy of handling paper clutter with a reality that we could actually commit to and consistently practice in our own home. And finally, to give you 3 takeaways that can help you find your calm in the midst of the paper storm.
Walking outside, and then we were supposed to be running. For a lap outside on the grass, and then
Drop zone versus disaster zone. My mantra this year is progress, not perfection. Did they get it in the general space that it needs to be, or at least get everything in one space as opposed to being spread out all over the place? Then yeah, then I'm good.
on the grass, and then I needed to hurry up to get to the blacktop because me and my friend, we were behind, and then I started running, and then I tripped over something, and then I got a big scratch, and it was bleeding, and it was kind of dripping down, but at least
So in terms of the paper flow versus the paper storm, the goal in our household is to get that paper work that needs to be reviewed or addressed in one central spot, or at least a spot where Ed and I can see it pretty easily. For us in our house, it is the kitchen counter. I don't know if it's the same in your household, but I get kind of weird about having a lot of clutter on the counters, so pretty frequently through the day I'm purging or rearranging or just trying to keep the space visually clear. So the kids know that if they put something there, I'm gonna see it, and hopefully they can intercept me and explain what it is before I just throw it away because it doesn't look important to me or it doesn't seem important. And we have had times where I've purged without prejudice and had the kids have to go through the trash to pick it out. So yeah, we're learning communication as well as trying to keep things in a central spot. So sorting, I would love to have some one-on-one time with each of the kids, kind of slow things down and really sit and connect with each of them and go through their folders and just really have a place for everything and have them be part of the process. But medical humor aside, it really is more like triage here at the house. So we found that what works for us is just to be able to get the scope or the overall feeling of what the paperwork is, and then just assign degrees of urgency. The very most important things are what I call response stat. So these are things like permission slips, or maybe notes from the teacher about a concern or a question or a project that's coming up. The next degree of urgency would be for observation. These are things like reference material, artwork, or projects. We file those away because they're really beautiful now, but we haven't really had the time to figure out what we want to keep versus what we can let go. So I'll file that away and then save the dates. So any school events that are coming up or PTA type of things that we might be able to actually attend, that gets filed away, and then I'll come back to it later. And the very last degree of urgency is discharge now. So these are duplicate flyers. Because we have 3 in the same elementary school, we haven't quite figured out a way to communicate with the teachers or coordinate so that we're not getting duplicate forms and flyers. So as of right now, we're getting like 3 copies of each event flyer. Those things will either become scrap paper if they can for different projects or crafts, or we'll just let it go.
My teacher has been gone from Friday, so she'll be coming back tomorrow.
Tell you that we were doing a science experiment, and then we were.
I'm just reviewing stuff that I might need to know.
Today I got my process of gay, and I passed it.
Filing versus stashing. So at the start of the school year, I'm all inspired. I'm intoxicated by all the cool school supplies and all the coordinated office type of tools. So at the start of the year, I was on it. I decided to use kind of like a binder system for the kids. I loved foxes for some reason this year, so I got a binder and I had tabs for each of the kids. It was perfect because there's a place to jot down stuff, and then there's like a little folder so you can put in just the most important paperwork, and it's a limited space. I do like that concept of limited spaces because it really forces you to purge. So this was like the perfect system. Unfortunately, somehow it got put out of sight. So it is really true, that whole out of sight, out of mind. So for months I couldn't figure out where I put my binder. So eventually you don't have it, so you just learn to adapt, because life doesn't stop just because you have misplaced some of your tools of survival. So I actually just found it when this question came up and I was trying to think about our organizational system. So yeah, this lasted for a good month, and then it was no more. It was just survival. Artwork. Children are natural artists, and our kids aren't any different. So when our art stash drawer gets to overflowing and it's time to purge and sort through and kind of figure out what we want to keep, a really great idea that we came across was taking pictures of the artwork or projects that we want to remember. So it's brilliant because you're preserving a memory, but then there's no clutter. So our intention with all these collected pictures is going to be to eventually go on one of the many websites that are available now and making a photo book for each of the kids. So eventually it'll be kind of a memory book of their artwork, and it'll be kind of nice because we'll see an evolution, and it'll just be right there at their fingertips. Another limited space thing that I do is I basically, filing is kind of a luxury when you can actually sit down and categorize things. For the most part, the reality is just stashing. Stashing is our thing. So what I try to do too to keep myself under control is I just have a little folder. It's just basically a huge construction paper. And then I just put all my under observation or file for later type of things in here. And as soon as this becomes way too stuffed, that's when I know that I need to purge. So the limited spaces kind of technique is actually pretty good. Okay guys, so I hope you had as much fun watching as we did filming this and thinking about it. The takeaways that I would like to share with you are just 3 things. Number 1, try to keep the main thing the main thing. So what are the most important things about the paper flow for our kids that really needs our attention immediately? And then we just try to focus our energy there. Number 2, don't be afraid to purge. So for us, we just step back every now and then and say, you know what? The best is still yet to come. It's good for our kids to keep their goalposts moving, especially even for us. It's good to think like, okay, I met that goal and now what's going to be my next thing? What's going to be the next adventure? So I'm trying to teach our kids to travel light, celebrate in the moment, but know that you got to reset your sights and keep moving. But even the best systems are going to fail you if you can't stay consistent with them. So we're human, and like I said, life is chaos. So sometimes you get to a point where your sanity is way more important than trying to stay real strict about your systems. So step back every now and then and give yourself a little bit of grace. We could all use a little bit more of that. All right, everybody, thanks so much. That was a great question. It was so much fun putting this together. It took a lot of thought and a lot of evaluation, and it really made us think about how we do things, how we would teach that to others and share that with you. So thank you so much for watching. So please hit that like button or share it with a friend or family member that may benefit from watching this or would enjoy our tips. If you haven't yet, please comment and subscribe. We love hearing from you and are really encouraged to keep making new content every week. Thanks again and stay tuned. Bye.